Max Olson talking with us from The Athletic. If I asked you right now, how would you handicap the Big 12 title race at this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that's a little bit fun about it is it doesn't, I don't feel like it's just down to two teams or anything. I think that as much as, Oklahoma's and Oklahoma State are playing well, they're still undefeated and they've been a little bumpy ride for both of them in some ways, but as well as they are playing on their best days, I think you still look at it and probably would say that, Baylor, Iowa State, Texas are still right there in it. And I don't know that you can really say there are that many teams that can't get back in it either. I mean, I think it's the rest of the league play here. I don't think there's unless Caleb Williams just, is magical the rest of the year, which is, it seems like that's possible. I don't know that there's one team that's going to roll through this thing undefeated. I really don't expect that. So I think there'll be some more upsets, and I do think that it will continue to be a situation where there's 3, 4, 5, 6 teams that feel like they're in it.
Well, you bring up Caleb Williams. I mean, how this seems like an obvious question, right? And like the Monday morning quarterback thing to do, to look at it and be like, I mean, he looks infinitely better than Spencer Rattler did. How did Lincoln Riley not make this decision sooner? I guess just how complex of a decision was this, and how crazy is it what we're seeing right now out of him?
Yeah, it's really wild. I don't go to Oklahoma practice every day, so it's hard for any of us to really sit here and say well, man, Caleb Williams has been so much better for so many weeks. Why didn't they do this? Maybe that's not the case. Maybe Spencer Rattler's been phenomenal in practice and it's not showing up in games or what. It's hard to know how that decision's kind of made internally, but certainly I never really expected Lincoln Riley would actually do it. I mean, I think that especially with just all they've invested in Spencer Rattler, certainly with kind of the way this has all been kind of lined up and planned out, where you felt like he had a chance this year to be a Heisman type guy and a first round pick kind of guy, and then Caleb Williams gets the job next year. To blow it up like they did during Red River, truly amazing, and could have really backfired on him. And so far, you haven't really seen Caleb Williams make a bunch of bad, freshman mistakes in games. In fact, he's made very few mistakes, period, in games. So fascinating to see him keep it rolling. Obviously, I can't quite explain it, but for whatever reason, this offense has just opened up more. Guys are running wide open. You've got the play calling probably is a little bit easier with a guy that's more of a dual threat with him, but still, I can't quite explain it, but that offense does look really different with him in charge of it.
Well, Max, I would say, I know you said you don't go to Oklahoma practice. If you want to, I've heard something about an adjacent building and some binoculars. You may be able to figure it out and get in there if you want to.
I've heard people are trying that. Yeah. I've heard that people have had some results with that. Yeah, and that's the hard thing to figure out. And look, it's also part of what kind of sucks about the way things are now, too, is as soon as they pull Spencer Rattler in Texas, then immediately it's all right, well, where's he going in the portal?
Right.
That's just kind of how it is now, and you have to, I'm sure Lincoln Riley is trying to manage that situation as delicately as possible because, the reality is they may need Spencer Rattler. They probably will need Spencer Rattler at some point in the season to get them out of a game or if they have an injury or whatever. So you have to be really careful and not let that guy just kind of totally give up on the season and check out and get really bummed out, which I think would be easy to do given how much Spencer Rattler was really built up.
Max Olson is talking with me from The Athletic. You kind of answered this by putting Iowa State in the group that's still in contention for a Big 12 title, but I mean, it was so easy, I think, to write them off, and having a chance now to look at it and be like, well, they did outgain Iowa and Baylor both significantly and just had some mistakes. I mean, they looked like a pretty good team to me in Manhattan. You think they are very legitimately still a part of the Big 12 title race at this point?
Well, they got the opportunity this weekend. They got Oklahoma State coming to Ames, and Iowa State's a 7-point favorite, which I think is pretty curious. It tells you what Vegas actually thinks of this Big 12 race a little bit. But they've got that opportunity this weekend where if you win that one, you're right back where you want to be. And, it's been that kind of a start from Iowa State that we kind of have tended to expect here over the last few years. But at the same time, they know how to deal with it. Brock Purdy's been through a few of these now. Brees Hall has too. This coaching staff as well. I know it's been a little bit disappointing because there was that kind of top 10 expectation at the start of the year, but I think they're going to work their way back into being a top 25 here top 25 team here pretty quickly, and that starts this weekend. But yeah, I think when they played well, and you saw it this last weekend, when it's clicking, they're still a really good team, and I think that they're going to have a say in all this, and they've got they've got a big one with Oklahoma on November 20th as well. So and they've got Texas coming to Ames, so they've got some really big games still in front of them.
Who would you give midseason Big 12 Coach of the Year to? Is it Aranda, Gundy, maybe Riley? How would you decipher that race right now?
Yeah, I think probably I would give it to Dave Aranda, and I think look, some of the stuff that Baylor went through last year. I mean, you can kind of write off their year as kind of a year zero, just based on a first-year head coach and a new coaching staff trying to kind of get it all figured out during a pandemic. Certainly, you're not really getting to roll things out the way you wanted to in year one. And obviously, you inherited good players from Matt Rule. I mean, they played for a Big 12 championship for a reason, but still, I think that Dave Aranda had to figure out a lot of stuff after last year in terms of what kind of head coach he wants to be, what kind of staff he needs to be successful, and all the changes that he made, especially starting with the OC and O line coach that he took from BYU. The changes he's made have been really, really good, and the choice he made at quarterback has paid off really well in Gary Bohannon. He's had a fantastic start to the season, and I think it's all kind of coming together for them. I think to say they'd be already at 6 wins at this point, I think you have to call that one of the better coaching jobs in all of college football so far this year.